All right, welcome back. Thanks for showing up. So this is episode number 3 of the highbanker rebuild. Episode 1 was the base. That's done. If you're not sure about that, you haven't seen the video, go ahead and check it out. It's on my channel page. The second episode was the water setup and the pump. So those, again, that was episode number 2. So if you haven't seen that, go ahead and check it out. This episode is going to be on the matting that we're going to use to catch the gold. Probably the most important part, other than the water, when it comes to the whole highbanker process. So if you do find anything useful or entertaining, please feel free to subscribe, hit the like button, turn on your notifications, and you won't miss any more of our future videos. So we're not quite at river mining season yet. The water's starting to open up. So after we're done with the highbanker, we will be doing a couple of more pay dirt reviews, and then we're going to hit the rivers and do some mining. So let's get right into it. So today what we're going to do is we're going to set up our matting. I am using a 3-step process. There's probably 7 million different ways to do it, but for my purposes, this is the way I'm going to do it because I'm going after flower gold, river gold. So the first thing that we're going to lay down is going to be a shallow V-mat. Now you can get this at pretty much any mining supply store. They do offer it on Amazon, but it's really expensive off Amazon. If you do have a good mining shop in your area, check it out. It's usually a lot cheaper. You can buy it in 3-foot widths, and I bought enough to do about 12 or 14 feet. So that's the first thing. That's the very base of what it is you can do. This is the base. I'll show you real quick what a shallow V-mat looks like. Just very, very shallow. Just enough to catch the gold. So that's going to be your base. Now, on top of that, you're going to have what's called miner's moss. Okay, there's a lot of companies that do offer it. Now this, on the other hand, is something that is cheaper on Amazon. I got this 24 by 36 inch roll for about $25. Now this is, it's all pretty standard. It's like, you know what it is? It's like melted spaghetti rubber. And I'll just show you real quick on that as well. It's 10 mil thick. And as you can see, the stuff has an opportunity to fall all the way through it. All right, so that's going to be my second layer. So that'll go right on top of my V-mat, just like that. And then my final layer for the base is going to be this expanded metal. Now there's 2 types of expanded metal. There's flat expanded metal, and then there's this stuff. And if you look real close, you can see that it's got little bumpy sections on it, like almost like waves, right? And what that is, that's going to act like little mini riffles. Now, I'm not a scientist, so I can't explain the science behind it, but I can tell you the basic thought process behind what happens is, if it's flat, then the water's just going to flow. The surface tension on top of the water is going to be the same as the surface tension on bottom of the water. But with these little riffles, what you're doing is you're causing the water to go like this over every one of the bumps. And every time it goes up, the surface tension on the top of the water is more than on the bottom. And when you have that less surface tension on the bottom, it gives just enough for that heavy stuff, the black sands and the gold, to fall out of the flow. And what will happen is it'll fall out of the flow and just get caught here in these riffles, fall down into your miner's moss. And for the small super stuff that even goes through the miner's moss, your V-mat should catch the rest of it. So that will sit directly on top of everything. Now it's not cut to size yet, I will do that. But like I said, you're gonna have, you know, every miner is gonna have a different way of doing it. There's dream mats, there's owl mats, there's, you know, gold hog matting. There's, all of those are great. I'm on a budget, so they don't fit into what I'm doing at all. I have a 6-foot run on this thing. and 6 feet of that stuff's going to be hundreds of dollars. Everything that I've got here, you know, I paid, I think, about $20 for the expanded metal. I paid $25 for the miner's moss, and then on top of that, I paid about $60 for the amount of VMAT that I'm going to use in my unit. Now, I did pay more for my VMAT, but I got enough to do this, you know, twice. So in total, I'm looking at $105 for my full capture setup, and I'll do a little cost breakdown of everything, the whole setup, all the way from beginning to gold, for you in the description. So that's my setup. If you have, you know, if you've got a place to get dream mats or owl mats or gold hog mats at a cheaper price than you know, say $300 for 6 feet of it, hey, leave a note in the comments because I'm interested. But yeah, so we'll go ahead, we'll cut this up, we'll put it into size, and then there's a couple other little things that I'm going to tell you about at the end that will help to control the water flow, and just make the chances you get more gold, bigger gold, better gold at the end of the day good. So what we'll do is we'll cut it here. I'm not going to bore you with watching me cut stuff and everything like that. What I'll do is I'll stop the video, I'll go cut everything, and then I'll start the video back up just as I'm putting it all into place, and then I'll show you what it looks like at the end. Then we'll talk about the other 2 special projects that I'm going to do right after this, so that you're gonna save yourself hundreds of dollars in the long run. So I'll get to it and we'll be right back. All right guys, so what we did, we cut to size the VMAT, which is the low profile VMAT. And then what we did was we did cut our miner's moss as well. So the VMAT's going down first, and then we're gonna jam on the miner's moss. Now I'm going to put the miner's moss flush end to end with the VMAT at the top, and then we'll run it down, and then I've cut another piece of miner's moss for the bottom. Now 90% of people will tell you that the first 4 feet is where you're going to catch most of your gold. And if you're catching it close to the end, you're obviously, your water's either too fast, your angle's not right, whatever. And although that is my goal, is to catch it up here. So we're going to use this bottom piece just as a safeguard for the first few times that we're out. After that, if I'm not catching any gold in this, what I'll do is I'll stop using this bottom mat, and then we'll just go with the 1 piece of matting, the miner's moss, and we'll keep the full-size VMAT underneath it. But for now, just for safety's sake, we're going to throw this other piece of miner's moss in here, and then on top of that we have expanded metal that kind of acts like riffles, like we talked about. Again, that's cut to size. Now, I'm okay with leaving a little bit of the miner's moss out the end of this expanded metal. Again, once we get going, this bottom piece is going to come right out, so it's going to be more like that. Now, one of the things that I'm not going to show you today, but I will let you know what we're doing, is up here at the top, I'm going to put a piece of flat bar and bolt it down to hold the matting and to keep the water from migrating underneath the mats and causing me some migration issues with my heavy materials. So this is basically the setup for my matting. I am going to put a bar on this side and a bar on this side and bolt that through there to hold all of this down flush and keep it in place. Now, like I said, if you've done this before and I'm doing something crazy ridiculous, let me know in the comments, or if you're experienced and you've used it like this before and it worked for you, again, leave that in the comments. That'll work great for us. And one thing I did notice is a lot of the guys just run it like this. But some of the guys that I like to follow actually have a water dampener. So I've gone and built a water dampener as well. And all that is going to do is sit on these 2 bolts here, go inside with a couple of butterfly nuts. Just like that, and all that's going to do is slow the water down, get the bubbles out of the water, and allow everything to settle out properly. So that's pretty much my matting setup. A quick little close-up for you. This is the flapper, which is... Now I do have a small piece of mat in the top here. It's not really a V-mat, it's just, you know, something to slow the movement down. I am going to put a set of bars here. Probably actually going to put this expanded metal right here so that the smaller stuff can fall through. So that's it for this stuff. Let's go to the closing. Now I told you there was 2 things. This was the one thing. One of the special extras at the back end. The other special extra at the back end is once you've got all your concentrates for this, you could sit there with a pan for hours and just pan and pan and pan and pan. I plan on putting quite a bit of material through this. So, I mean, we're talking 6-8 hours of panning out the concentrate. So, I've done a little bit of research, and one of the things that guys use is a cleanup sluice. So while I was cutting my V-mat, one of the things I did was I cut a piece to fit in here. Now, this is just a piece of rain gutter you can buy at any hardware store, and I bought the one that has the 2 lips on it. And the reason I did that is the piece of V-matting that I cut is going to fit in and get locked in those 2 lips. So just like this. So it'll be like that all the way up. And that's going to be what I go and clean up sluice. I'm going to call it a cleanup sluice. My particles, my black sands, my fines, and my gold. And I'll put it over there. And the water source, I just got an end cap to fit. So that's going to go on like so. And then I'll drill a hole here. And I'll put a garden hose attachment on there. So then it's very similar. It's a little longer than I'm going to have it, but it's going to be very similar to my highbanker bottom, but it's going to be the fine V-matting, and that's what we're going to use. And then we'll use a garden fountain pump to recirculate, and we'll do that in the garage after a weekend out to get our clean product at the end of it. Now, the reason why this piece is so long, the gutters come in 10-foot pieces at a hardware store, Home Depot, Home Hardware, whatever it is you're using, and I just got them to cut a piece in half. So I'm actually going to make 2 of these. But yeah, it's $7 for the 10-foot piece. It was $1.99 for the cap end. I used leftover V-matting, or will be using leftover V-matting from the highbanker matting setup. And then I have 2 old garden hoses at home that I'm just going to cut the female parts off and attach to this, and that way I can hook a normal garden hose up to it. Most of the outdoor fountain garden pumps will accept a normal size garden hose. And that's it, and we'll recirculate that way. So if you're interested in seeing that get built, please feel free to tune in to the next episode, and we will build one of those. Give it a try. And then after that, we still have a bit of snow and ice on the ground, so we're going to go back to doing a little bit of pay dirt reviews. I have a couple. I got a Caribou I've got a bonus bag that was sent to me by Kenai Gold out of Alaska. And then I have one more bag of gold coming, and hopefully that gets here soon. So I'll do 2 videos. I'll throw the bonus bag in as a bonus clip on one of those 2 videos. And then hopefully by the time all those videos are done, shot and done, we'll be out on the rivers getting some gold. So if you found anything useful here, again, feel free to subscribe, hit the like button, turn on your notifications, share the heck out of this video if you'd like. I'm totally fine with that. If you have some comments, leave some comments. I appreciate your support. Thanks for watching. And if I don't see you around, I'll see you square.